Ah, great sword. Always you have been my number one. I've loved you for over 15 years. And you're so powerful. And nothing could ever change that. Nothing could ever take that away. And that's one of the things I think so great about you. And what is that? What is that ominous? And why is it going black? Oh no. Oh no! Hello, my fellow hunters! How you doing? If you've got a hat, I suggest holding on to it. If you're sat down, I suggest moving to the edge of said seat. And, well, brace thyselves, for weapon changes are coming. Yes, indeed. This is quite exciting, terrifying, and above all, interesting. So let's not waste any time. Let's get straight to the point. Hey everyone, as part of Free Title Update 5, we'll be making some adjustments to various weapon actions. Please wait for more info to come regarding the specific details. Suzuki, the man whomst your favorite weapon's fate lay in the hands of. So, to be clear, in Monster Hunter terminology, weapon actions are, the various moves and motion values that weapons do, what dictates their damage. And, of course, this is basically saying that in the next title update, we're getting buffs, and likely we're getting nerfs to the weapons. And you might be like, well, that's normal, right? That just kind of is normal game maintenance. That's a thing that's happened before. And yes, it has happened before. It happens pretty much every major patch, major title update. There is little tweaks, little bug fixes, little changes to weapons. In the most recent one, there's just been a round of bug fixes. Nothing too crazy actually went on, which is why it kind of goes under the radar and they don't really announce it. But that's the key. That's what's different. That's what's scary this time. Because they don't really announce it. They have never really announced it. So for it to be made a big deal of it, for it to be focused, for it to be, well, put out in the world like this, so specifically, deliberately, publicly, it means they're preparing us for the blow of what's about to happen, softening us up, or getting us excited, because this will likely be the most major round of weapon changes in Sunbreak so far. And that, as I keep saying, is scary and exciting. Especially for me, because hey, guess what's in the example picture tied to this information? Oh, is that a great sword? How do I interpret this? Is Azeroth over there like,
look how weak your greatsword is now, thanks to all of the nerfs.
Or is he over here like,
oh, it's so much more powerful than it was before.
I just don't know. Well, I've got a good idea. I can do a good guesstimate. There is information to work with here. Firstly, this is obviously Surge Slash that is happening, and Surge Slash is really, really weak compared to Strong Arm. So the implication here is that Surge Slash might well be getting a buff to compete, because obviously Surge Slash is the other new Sunbreak thing, and they do want that to actually have its time to shine in the spotlight, and I totally agree. Surge Slash is really, really awesome, but it just doesn't have a real niche or use outside of vague, elementally kinda stuff that you can kinda do with Greatsword, but even then, it's just not the best. And on the same vein, yeah, I fully hold my hands up, Strong Arm Stance is the single strongest attack in the game, and it's probably not even close. The fact that we're dealing 10,000 plus damage wake-up hits is silly, and it's absolutely crushing hunts, both casually, normal player-wise, and speedruns, so I'm fully expecting and saddened by what is likely an imminent tone down to Strong Arm Stance. But on that vein, hey, maybe can we get a slight buff to Rage Slash, which is even more than Surge Slash, just kinda got forgotten about, because there's no reason to use it, because it's just that much weaker and worse than Strong Arm. Strong Arm gives you the ability to ignore the attack, and then hits even harder, and you take less damage for doing so. Rage Slash has completely been marginalized, but maybe that's a deliberate thing, as that's a Rise thing, and they want the Sunbreak things to be what you actually care about, so it's just a case of Surge Slash versus Strong Arm. Who knows? But the point is, there's definitely going to be some greatsword changes specifically, otherwise this would not be the example that they showed, and honestly that's one of the biggest reasons why I felt the need to make this video. Normally I like to let a good amount of these little title update teasers build up so I can go over them all in one go for you guys, but this one just feels major. It feels too important to talk about, to get your input in. Oh, there is a few outliers that do probably need a little bit of a touch-up, like Charge Blade's new elemental ridiculousness crushing for like 6,000 damage SAADs. Not the strongest thing in the game, that still belongs to the bows, and the bow guns, they really are out there winning the speedrun chart, statistically the strongest weapons, getting the fastest kill times, so perhaps they might get brought in line a little bit, but the thing is, I digress. What this isn't going to be, or at least what I hope it isn't and probably it shouldn't be, is, hey, these 5 weapons are absolutely doing way too much damage and doing like really fast speedruns compared to these 5 weapons that just aren't, so let's nerf them, let's buff them, jobs are goodin'. What will happen more than likely, because they want to actually encourage interesting and fun gameplay, is that the various switch skills and abilities that weapons have that are completely ignored because they're just too weak, but yet they are interesting and fun to use, hopefully they get buffed so that they're viable choices. That's really what this should be, and that's what I hope it is based on them actually pre-announcing it. All of those dusty, long, forgotten attacks that have just been completely replaced or superseded by objectively stronger choices, and as players we're always going to gravitate mostly to the objectively strong choice because that's how human brains are wired. So if we can actually get a little bit of a bump to the sides of the weapons that are currently neglected, that suddenly and instantly diversifies the playstyles actually being chosen in the game, and I think that's the important thing to do. I think there's a lot of lance, a lot of hammer, a lot of insect glaive, and a lot of hunting horn that definitely could do with some love to give them at least, more than 3 players using each weapon, and I definitely think there's a few outliers at the top end, the bow, the bowgun, the greatsword, the charge blade, that are perhaps a little bit too dominant, and because of that, anyone who plays all of those weapons essentially just plays it in one specific way, like bow with power shot cancelling, which makes it ridiculously strong, but I digress. Again, I don't want to get into like nitty-gritty speedrun techniques that are a bit too powerful, because that isn't really relevant to most of us. We just want to have a fun time with our favourite weapon in our favourite playstyle, while not feeling like we're shooting ourselves in the foot for choosing to play that way over the perhaps numerically, statistically stronger, but to you personally, less fun choice. In any case then, if we do want to kind of have some sort of objective measure, it is light bowgun, heavy bowgun, bow, greatsword, switch axe, and charge blade that are perhaps on the too strong side, and then hunting horn, insect glaive, gun lance, and hammer that are on the bit too weak side, with longsword, sword and shield, and dual blades very much sitting pretty in the middle is the general spread if we're just going to look at cold numbers to give you an idea of what might be going in what direction, but I really think it's going to be a lot more subtle than that, a lot more targeted, a lot more specific switch skills specifically changed to actually encourage a more diverse set of layouts for each of the weapon, and that's really exciting. But again, it's also really scary. So that's kind of where we're at. It's what I wanted to put across, and I of course want your thoughts on all this, because it really is again a bit unprecedented to get such public clear warning of weapon changes before a title update. Is there anything in particular you would like to see buffed? Any particular favorite part of your favorite weapon that you would love to be able to play but you just can't justify it because it's just a little bit too weak? Or anything you want really getting that nerf hammer because it just enrages you how much stronger it is than your favorite weapon? But leave strong arm stance alone! Like if you enjoyed this, subscribe, hit the bell for more, consider supporting the future of the channel on Patreon down below, and until we meet again, a goodbye.
Josh, Cotton, and Hollow with the videos, dropping the humor like a hammer on your tippy toes, bringing entertainment on a daily arrangement to take our insanity and turn it into entertainment. Yes, I said entertainment twice. to reiterate that it is nice to look into your faces on a mostly daily basis when you let us in your homes to make the whole world a stage. Goodbye.